Hey guys, sorry, I got carried away. I was reading, all of a sudden I look at the clock and we're 5 minutes late. So sorry about that. Let me know that you're here. I'm reading all my texts and messages. I can get carried away. Okay. Reading all my texts and messages. Sorry. Hey Jackie, Marilyn, Kathleen. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so we did our upper bodies earlier, but if you didn't join us for the upper body, I want you to make sure that you get some in and out, back and forth, and some rotations done while we do our legs. Okay, you can do both at the same time if you're really coordinated, but we're gonna make some circles with those ankles and get them ready to go. And switch directions. Back and forth a little tiny bit. And knees. I almost brought my computer outside and thought about doing this outside on my deck. Will I get a little bit of vitamin D? But I'm not sure about the glare, so I'm gonna have to test that first and see how that works. Okay, reach, get that trunk moving a little bit more. Okay, here we go. We're gonna start with the feet. Hey Debbie, welcome. Okay, so if you've never been to this class, it's about joint stability and strength, mobility of the joints, and a little bit of balance work and stuff like that. Okay, so we're going to start with the feet and go all the way through the body. Okay, so just starting with your feet nice and flat, you're just going to wiggle your toes a little bit, get them moving. I'm going to give you some new footwork to do. Some of it is horrid. But it's good. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, is you can concentrate on one foot at a time. Let's take that right foot. You're going to pick up the big toe only. So the little toes are on the ground, the big toe only is moving. If you really find that hard to do sitting on your chair, you can put a little bit of pressure on it and just stand up and just try to get that big toe. Mine doesn't work still. I'm determined. But you're just trying to make that big toe move up and down. You can manually do it. So I'm going to sit on a chair and do some manual work with it because it doesn't want to lift. I'm going to get a string actually and start pulling that sucker up just to get him to move. I wonder. Okay, so you're just getting that big toe moving up and down. I'm going to cheat here, see what I can do. Oh yeah, almost. He just doesn't want to move without the little guys, no. So I want that big toe extension working. Okay, you guys are going to switch feet. You're going to try to get that other big toe to lift. Okay, go back to the first foot. You're going to get the little toes only to move. So big toe stays down, little toes come up and down without the big toe. If you're already thinking, man, this is hard, for some of us it is. It depends on how long we've been wearing shoes and how much mobility we've lost. Okay, try the other side. So get that big toe to stay down. Only the little toes raise. Again, if you need a little more pressure on it, you can stand up and do it. Okay. We're going to splay our toes. So splaying just means separating, and you can do your hands at the same time. Again, if you've never worked with me, you're thinking, why are we doing our feet? Your feet are the most important part between your feet and your hips of your body. They stabilize you and keep you upright. If your feet are all like this, how stable can you be? Okay. Your feet need to do their job. And unfortunately, when we wear shoes, it destroys that. It squishes them all in. They change shape. They don't do what they're supposed to do. So separate. Okay, good. Now, this next one, Foot Collective. I know I've been doing that certification. Okay, so this is something you need to work towards. If you know me, I absolutely hate anything between my toes. I'm working towards that, but I can't even wear beautiful flip-flops. So what you're going to do is try to put your finger between those, next finger between those, next finger between those, and basically interlace your fingers and your toes if you can. If you can't do it to one of it, if it causes a little bit of pain, you might not be able to go deep down against the webbing. You might have to be up here. But see if you can work those fingers in a little tiny bit. I hate this. Okay. It might actually be a little bit painful at first, so just back off a tiny bit. Get those toes in there, or fingers in there. Eventually, you should be able to work to get your fingers right in there, and then you can start moving those around. Oh, I hate this. Okay, so just move those fingers around. Get that mobility in there. Work those fingers in there. It shouldn't cause severe pain, but it can be extremely uncomfortable. I literally am sweating right now. I hate this so much. But I am determined to make my feet the healthiest they can be. It does get a little bit better. Maybe one day. Oh, Lord Almighty. Oh, yeah, it's getting better. Some of you are like, oh, no problem. This is simple. You might want to make sure your feet are clean or wash your hands after, too. I can get used to it. I think I can handle it, maybe. So eventually, like I said, webbing of the toes meet the webbing of the hands, and you can get right in there and really get some mobility back in those toes. Now, the problem with this, as they say with the Foot Collective, is you work 5-10 minutes with your feet and then you stick them back in those scrunchy shoes. It's hard. Okay. Can't handle it anymore. You guys can go longer if you want to. The next thing we're going to do is some mobility, flexion, and extension. So we're going to take the big toe and the little toe and separate directions. So droop, 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 droop. Flex and extend those toes. Don't be afraid to really stretch the toes. Don't hurt them, but don't be afraid to move. They are designed to move. Okay. And then move down to the next two toes, and you're just doing that. Flex and extend. Just keep moving down. Good. Let's try the other foot a little bit. So get those fingers in there. Ah. If you wear tight shoes, you'd be lucky to get your fingers in there. You can always start with toe spreaders at the store, or even those little, if you have those little manicure type things, start with those, work your way up. But you want that movement. You should be able to move your toes all over the place. Every direction, back and forth, side to side, round and round. And you can notice, you should be able to notice that it does get easier to get them in there. Now, if you have huge honking fingers, which I don't know that any of you do, Debbie, I don't know. Do you have really big fingers? Then you want to be a little bit careful. Okay, and then start to flex and extend those toes. Don't be afraid to use that full range of motion that you have. Work your way down. Okay, perfect. Now go back and try to splay your toes again. See if you have a little more mobility. The more you work with it, the more mobility you will have in those toe joints. Okay, so splay. Perfect. Okay. Now point your foot down and you're going to curl your toes under. Okay. Now those toes are curled under. You're going to come up without changing the toes. Come up, 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 up. Feel that huge stretch on the top of your foot. And come back down. Wiggle them out. Okay. Point, curl, lift again. Feel all that tension. How high can you lift without uncurling your toes? Good. Hey, Claudia, Lena, Elaine, welcome back. Let's do that one more time, guys. Okay, so point, then curl under, and then up, 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 without losing the curl. Really feel that pull. Okay, good. Let's try the other side. Point, curl, lift, 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 lift. And relax again. Try it again. Good. Last one, get it up there, get it up there. Really, really dorsiflect, which means come this way. Perfect. Okay, go onto your toes. So just like that, balls of your feet. We're just going to stretch those out the opposite way that we just were working them. Okay. And you can do both at the same time if you so desire. Doesn't take a lot of concentration. When it takes a lot of concentration, they're different. I like to do just one at a time so that you're giving 100% to one side. Really feel that stretch. Okay, let's go to the actual foot part. Did mostly toes. So what you're going to do is curl under, curl back with the foot. Okay, so I'm grabbing onto the top of my foot, onto my heel. I'm bringing it forward. So I'm creating more of an arch, and then I'm pulling it back, forward, back, forward. Okay, now what I'm going to do is actually twist here. So I've grabbed onto the top of my foot, so we're actually getting some mobility in the midfoot, which is really, really important. Okay, so you're going to grab the top of the foot here and just let the ankle not move, and you're twisting. Okay, so you can go in the bottom too if you have to, whatever works for you, but you're twisting that top part of your foot separately, sideways, laterally. So midfoot mobility. Really ream on them a bit without causing pain. The amount of, off the top of my head, I think you have 26 bones in your feet. You have ligaments, you have fascia, you have so many things in your feet compared to the rest of your body. You should feel this loosening up. Okay, while we're here, we're going to go into a really nice stretch. So pull that back, get that Achilles tendon, right? The back of your heel in here, pull that back. You can even push that heel forward a little bit, get that Achilles tendon area stretched. Okay, let's go to the other side. Okay, we're going to start with a stretch. So I'm not stretching the ankle at this point. I'm kind of stretching the bottom of the foot, and I'm pulling it forward, pulling it back and forward, working on the foot, not the ankle yet. Okay, and then grab however you need to twist, to get that midfoot twisting. Twist, twist. You wouldn't have this many bones and ligaments in your foot if they weren't meant to move. Unfortunately, like I said, we stick them in shoes, we steal their movement, we steal their mobility and their stability and their proprioception, which is how you know where you are in space. Okay, let's get that stretch out. So push the heel that way. top of the foot that way. Get that stretch in the Achilles tendon, please. Beautiful. Let's stand up. You can use a wall or anything that you have. Okay. And you're just going to come up onto those toes, nice and high. Slowly go down. Up onto those toes, nice and high. Slowly go down. So getting those ankles working well, making sure that always, always, always your ankles are straight, right? If you look down and they're like this, they're rolled out, put a ball in between if you have to, get those squeezing in straight. Okay, now come up and walk. If you tell me you can't do it, if you wear high heels, you sure can. Is this a good position to be walking in all day long in high heels? Absolutely not. Throw your high heels away. They do damage all the way up even to your neck. Okay, let's go on to the heels. Down. So obviously your mobility here is going to be less. Up. Let's walk on those heels a little tiny bit. Okay. Grab your chair so that you can still see the screen. Okay, we're going to use the chair for support to work the ankle mobility a little bit more. So I'm going to come down on all fours. Okay, and bring that one ankle forward. And then I'm going to make sure that my toes and heel are down, my heel never comes off the ground. And I'm going to lean forward until I can really feel it good. So I'm going to go forward a little bit more here until I feel a really nice pull back here. No pain, no tearing sensation or burning sensation. Just a really nice pull without my ankle coming up off the ground. Okay, so if you don't need the chair, you don't have to. Just giving you something to hang out on. How low can you go? Feel that nice pull, pull, pull back there. You can hang out there as long as you want. For time's sake, we're gonna go to the next side. But again, you can do this just sitting like this and coming forward, whatever works for you. Soon as that heel starts to come up though, you shut it down, you drop that heel down. Okay, let's try the other side, see what he's got. One day I'll show you how to test the mobility and make sure that you actually have the range you should have. So your lower calf may be really, really feeling this right now, not just the tendon. Okay, come out of that. Stay with your chair. We're going up to the hips. Okay, so we're gonna use that mobility. Open up the hips and back. Open up the hips and back. You don't need the chair. Okay, you don't have to use it. Nice tall posture though. Forward, back. Forward. You take your time. Like I said, if you're having to grab onto the chair in any way that you can to come forward, you do that. We're going to add a little bit of a swing forward on this. So what I mean by that is when you come here, you go into that foot, into that ankle. Remember, your knee should feel fine as long as you're keeping your heel down. If you pick that heel up and you go into there, you're going to use the knee too much, okay? So we're just going forward, getting that stretch of the hip flexor, back, down, up, forward into it, back, down. If you're finding this part extremely hard, just rest for a little bit. Don't skip the whole class because this one is hard. Maybe your knees, so Kathleen, maybe your knees are bothering you. You have to rest through this. If not, pillows, 15 pillows under your knees. Whatever you got to do. Okay, perfect. Come on up. Put your chair wherever it's comfortable. We're going to work on the knee a little tiny bit. So hang on to a wall, hang on to something. Bring your leg up, and we're just going to swing from the knee. So if you're going too far, you're going from the hip. That's not what I want. I want this to stay relatively still and limited motion here. Swing. Okay. Straighten, bend it as far as you are comfortable. Straighten, get that full range of motion of that knee. Straighten, bend. Good. Come back to here, make a circle. So just let this bottom part be dead weight. Sit down. If it's killing your hip flexors, sit down. But it's good for the hip flexor work as well. Okay. Other side, come up. Let it swing side to side. Try not to let that femur move. Good. Straighten and bend. Straighten, bend. All of this can be done on the chair if you want, guys. Good. And then hit those circles. As if your lower leg is stirring a pot. Go both directions a little bit. Okay, beautiful. Okay, you're going to step forward. So basically, it's like a lunge position. So you're just going to step forward as if you needed to step and you needed to reach something. Okay, and then when you push back through that front foot and bring yourself back nice and powerful. Okay, so go forward, heel is down on the ground, push back with the toes. Okay, heel is solid on the ground. If that heel comes up and you're pushing your weight into your toes, your knee's not going to like it. Okay, push the weight downward into the foot, not forward. Okay, so push the weight downward into the foot, drive that foot down, toes back. That's what saves your knee, is that powerful foot. And back. Okay, so those of you with bad knees, you might be doing this. Okay, and that's fine. You can go as wide as you feel comfortable on the knee. If you need to hang on to something from one side and really lunge forward into that, you can do that too. Okay. But I'm really putting the weight into that foot. Okay, let's switch sides. So So you might start smaller, see how the knee handles that. And it might be very different than the other one. Nice and slow and controlled. If it bothers you, where does it bother you? Inside here, bottom of here. I'll show you how to help with those in a few seconds. I'll show you how to release those. It's right behind the kneecap. That's a whole different issue. You want to go really small and see if you can back up to where it didn't bother you at all. Push hard into that foot. Push back. If that fixes it, you got to work on that first and then slowly get yourself to extend farther. Okay, I said I would show you something you can quickly do to help with these areas, okay? So if you go underneath your kneecap, you have a little area right here that you feel like you can pinch, okay? So there's a bone down here, and there's a little area that you feel like you can kind of pinch there. So just pinch inward slightly. Put a bit of pressure inward and together. Okay. See if you can move your knee with that. Feel that tendon? There's a little bit of tightness, a little bit of uncomfortableness. You need to work on this, obviously. If it's pain that's excruciating past an 8, then you want to see a physical therapist, please. Okay, we'll do the other side just because it's always good to have balance. So go to both sides of that tendon, push back, push in. Might feel a little pop, pop, and weird noises and weird feelings. That's okay. Okay, so the other thing you can do is try to release the adductor in here. So if you take your thumb and just feel around the inside of your knee, just go above the inside of your knee, and you're going to find a spot that's possibly extremely tender. Okay, you just want to work in little circles with that spot. You don't want to dig right in there right off the bat. Get deeper and deeper as you go. Move along, upward, and just feel where you feel any adhesions. Okay, so this side for me, not too bad. I know that I have a little guy that's unhappy when I was lunging forward in here. So I'm going to find him. I would usually cup this side area too, but that's a whole different story. Okay, and I'm going to, hello, right there. There you are. Whew. Put a little pressure on him in little circles. Okay, so that's something you can do. If those two areas are the areas that are irritating you a little bit, you can definitely release those a tiny, tiny bit. Okay, let's move on because I could sit here and do this for a long time. Okay, let's stay on our chair for a few minutes. We're going to go up to the shoulders and then we'll lay down. Like I said, in this class, I don't like you to go up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so let's start with elbows tucked against the body, palms up and just outward. So without the band to start with, we can use the band if you want to. Okay, but let's just warm it up first. So some external rotations of the shoulder. So Helene, yes, these are awesome for you. So you do not have to advance to the band if you do not want to. Those of you that have good, healthy rotator cuffs and want to work with the band, you can start that. When you're doing this with the band so Helene, you'd want a softer band than this likely. Okay. So I don't want to make my elbows go away from my body. Remember, I'm keeping them tucked in. Okay, my shoulders are saying, forget it. Are you stupid? We're sore. Okay, so out. Get that range of motion if you can. Okay, perfect. We're gonna do some diagonals. You're only going to your range of motion. Okay, so grab onto your seatbelt. You are the passenger. Okay, so fingernails are towards the screen or towards me, and you're gonna open up to here. Okay, Helene, I'm sure that you can't do that right now. So even if you can get over here, where can you get? What part hurts? Let me know later. Is it the rotation? I'm assuming that if you did this, your arm would just drop from just the way you were just mentioning about not being able to lift your arm. Okay. Or you wouldn't be able to lift your arm past that position. Okay. So just open gently if you can. Okay, good. Switch the arms, same thing. Open gently if you can. This arm can do it and the other one can't. That's fine. Okay. In this case, so usually I'm like, oh, if you do one side, yeah. In this case, you want to keep that good shoulder if you have an injury really healthy because it's the one that's got to do all the work for the next little while. And it's very common that you're like, oh, well, I hurt this ankle. Why 10 years from now is this one the one that's bothering me? It doesn't make sense. It does make sense. Okay. Because a lot of times when we're doing physio type moves and therapy type moves, we focus so much on that side that we fix him. He's better than new. But the other side that's been compensating gets left behind. Okay. Forward hand, cross your body behind you. Okay. So again, Helene, you might be just doing some internal rotations here. Okay. That might be more than enough. Then again, it depends on which rotator cuff is irritated. This might be fine. And a little reminder, when you fall down, guys, tuck and roll. Don't put your arms out like this. Okay, that's not a safe position. It's a good way to do damage up here. Tuck and roll. Other side. Don't fall down at all. That would be a good alternative. Okay, good. So we're just gonna do some mobility of the elbows a tiny bit. For those of you that can come up here, you're just gonna do like a Tarzan. So you're out here, you're out here. If you can't do that, you're just here rotating out and out and out. So you're bending the elbow, straightening the elbow if you can. Okay, if you can go a little wider or up here. Want those thumbs upward, please? Straighten that arm right out so you get that little bit of stretch. Perfect. Arms to your side, let your shoulders relax, and you're just going to rotate from here. Okay, so the movement stops at the elbow. I'm not moving this bone at all. Okay, it's just rotating the forearms. Okay, let's go to the wrists. So just hang on, Bring that wrist straight up if you can. Hold it there if you can. And then do the opposite. Let him come down straight if you can. If you're feeling huge amounts of pulls in here, you might need to do a little bit of work in there, a little bit of circles, flip back and forth, loosen it up a little later. Or it might be the actual wrist that's holding you back, maybe a past injury. And up again, and down, and up, and down. Perfect. Let's try the other side a bit. Come up, get that nice and straight if you can. Again, you might be here, you might be here. My husband, industrial mechanic, here, that's about it. He's locked. Has a little bit to do with the extremely heavy piece of equipment that landed on his arm, but he could have gotten some of that mobility back if he had tried. Yeah. And down. So work wherever it's, so if this is like, oh yeah, this one's a breeze, no problem at all. This one's very, very difficult, then work on that a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to go to the fingers. You're simply going to make a fist, extend your fingers, make a fist, extend your fingers. Okay, so get that full range of motion. Grab that thumb, circles. Other thumb, circles. Okay. Pinky fingers? No, pinky fingers. Pointer fingers. You can, if you want to manually do it as well, but these have quite a bit of control. Middle fingers. Mine have no control. Ring finger. What I meant is they just tend to go up sometimes. And pinky finger. Good. And then just give a little tug, little tug, little tug, little tug, little tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. Perfect. Let's lay down for a tiny bit. Okay, good. Hey, Lutz. Okay. Let's lay on our side. We're going to start with some mobility. Okay. So you're going to tap, 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 tap. I'm making sure that when I tap back here, I can touch the ground without any pain in my back. Okay. So some people cannot. Ashley, her hips are so tight all of the time. She has a bit of a disorder. She can't go back there, which is really sad because she was the dancer that won most flexible every single year. But now she has a joint disorder. Okay, now you're going to take that leg, bring it forward, and just hang out there. Feel that stretch. Going to get these hips moving a little bit. And then just give a little tug, little tug, little tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just tug, 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 tug. All the way along. Just got to watch the time. Make sure, oh yeah, that 12 o'clock, I'm doing that breast cancer lymphedema session. It's very quick, very easy. And then come back. Okay, find that position. So I'm tight right now. So normally I can go down here really bad, but right now it's pinching. So I'm going to bring that foot up and just allow that to come back. Okay, I'm going to make sure that my back is happy. So I'm going to bring my pubic bone forward so it's nice and lined up. And I'm feeling that front pocket. Okay, that stretch over this muscle right in here. Remember, if underneath you're on your bursa, so you could feel that, that really feels uncomfortable area on the bone. You have two main ones there that'll hurt. Just roll off of it slightly. So just come off of it or cushion it. Okay, you're just going to take that for a back leg and see if he will comfortably sit flat behind you. And then let him open up. Okay. If that'll work comfortably. Now, when you do that, I'm not leaning my body back, right? I'm not rotating. I am finding a place where I'm comfortable. Pubic bone is set forward. Everything is stretching if you're tight. Maybe you're down here. Maybe that's all you can handle. Okay. Then close that leg. Hang on to that foot if you so desire. Okay. And stretch that quad. So I tend to just want to drop it and go back like this, as long as there's no pressure on your knee. Okay, nice straight right here, please. You want to open up that hip flexor into that quad. Remember, this class is about listening to your body, going, oh, when I do this, I feel this. What if I change that position? Does it take it away? Do I still get the stretch without that knee torque? It's about listening to your body and learning to keep your joints absolutely safe at all times, especially when you're in an exercise class and one of the instructors tells you to do something and it seems very wrong to you. Okay, if it is wrong, if it feels wrong, it probably is wrong for you. Okay, so you're just going to go back and forth. We all have different bodies as far as size and things like that, but structure as well, right? Where your hips sit, how they curve, have you had babies, not babies? There's so many factors when it comes to your structure. And you have to sometimes listen to that. Sometimes, all the time. You always listen to your body. Okay, so you're just going back and forth, just pulling on the muscles a tiny bit. I need to get deep in there because I'm losing mobility right now. Might have been the 50s in the boot camp yesterday. Okay, come forward. Stretch this baby out. Hey, Deb and Claire. So just back, find that front pocket, that TFL, tensor fasciae latae. Make sure that the bursa is not bothering you underneath. And then come up, plant that foot wherever it will go. Open up. So you're looking for a little bit of a stretch, possibly. You might not feel it. You might not be tight. And that's great. If you're not, just hang out here. You might feel a little stretch in here. You might feel a little stretch in here. It really depends on where you are a little bit tight. Work it to open up, open up, open up. Get in that hip. And come down. Find that quad into that hip flexor. And then time flies when you're having fun. But this is going to be it for the day. If you want to join me at 12 o'clock and just peek in on the lymphedema stuff, maybe you have somebody in your family that you could show the exercises to or show the video to that has had breast cancer. And then at 12:30, I'll do a watch party, 12:30-ish, as soon as I'm done. I can't do two things at once on the computer. I'll do a watch party of Ashley stretching. So then you'll get a good stretch going today. Okay, perfect. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you tomorrow for some strength training as far as arms, at the regular times. Okay, have a peek at the schedule there. Okay, have a lovely afternoon, guys. Get some vitamin D.